This is the second and final Bonesaw target from the third and final Bonesaw raid, and today I want to compare and see how well I do driving versus auto. This target should be different than the 1204 video. If you didn't catch that, I would recommend doing that. It does give a pretty good baseline for the turrets, etc. that I'm going to be talking about here. Now I am using the Sea Serpent's crew. Other crews to consider are the Creeping Death for building damage, as well as Steelheads just for overall being pretty good, but I'm interested to see if this does get any shockwaves, so as you're watching the video, count the shockwaves on driving versus auto and see which one has a better performance. Let's go ahead and get started. So it does actually matter where you enter in terms of the positioning of this target. If you enter at 12 o'clock, you'll come in at 12 o'clock, but it's pretty standard these days. Here on the driving target. First turret I took down, which was purple, I was doing some damage to me. The second one, you're able to outrange these guys, and the first one looks like this. It shoots directly at you. It kind of has a pointy serrated end on that one, and you do have to worry about that one and try and avoid taking some damage. We also do, of course, have the web, or the Spider-Man style turret is what I call this guy. This one is not too bad. If you're driving, you can just avoid the damage from it and you'll do okay. The Vulture missile short-range turret, you want to make sure you're outranging that one, which you can do on auto fine, and that will avoid damage on that. Try and avoid the yellow rings there. They do something. I can't quite remember what they did. I believe it was radioactive damage. In the first Bonesaw target video I published, I did talk about that, but if you just stay outside of those ranges, you should be pretty much okay. I think it is radioactive damage, but again, could be wrong on that one. The next turret cluster I'm going to kill is the one that did shoot at me here with a very, very long range, as well as the second one with a firing arc right here. If you stay moving, you should be able to reduce some of the damage on that one. I believe this red ring here is actually a buff on the enemy turrets. You can see that as this is hovering over the heavy turret right there, it does actually get a buff onto it. I believe that helps the reload percentage, so therefore decreases reload time on that one. The circular turret does shoot at its feet there, so watch out on that one. And you did see my first shockwave, so that's number 1 right here for the driving target. Number 2 for the driving target, short range turret, outrange that guy if you can. Number 3. So again, seems like the Sea Serpents might not be super helpful. Okay, another few turrets here. All I'm doing is getting close to these guys, shooting at them, and it's taking them down in just about one volley. If you did use Creeping Death, it would help compensate for, let's say, a lower legendary weapon status, etc., lower upgrade level, something like that, lower even officers level, because of course I'll show you the officers at the end of the video, which, you know, I always do. Okay, turret that shoots at itself. Again, you can tell that one is what it is because it has a circular mark right here. I believe this white ring is a debuff on you and will decrease your projectile speed, which is nothing too crazy. Maybe something else in this target, but I can't really be sure on that. Okay, here we go. There's the turret that was just shooting at me there, and then we of course have one inside the minimum range of, not worried about him. We do have the short range turret, again, not worried about that guy, and then the one that does actually, the sawtooth kind of turret that does do some damage to you. Okay, there's the damage on the driving target. Let's actually check the damage battle report and build before we go ahead and look at the driving results. Or the auto results, I should say. There's 26% resisted, which is the ballistic damage right there, and then radioactive is 31%. Let's go ahead and take a look at the auto target and see what kind of results we get, and see if we can do better than 39 minutes of repair with, I think, 4 or 5 shockwaves, although I kind of lost count. Sure, drop in the comments to tell me if that's right or not. And of course, here is the build. It is the same as the 1204 video, has mostly uncommon weapons, mostly legendary armor. I believe that's because it was from the Forsaken mission, and does have the latest and greatest specials, 2 gold crews, including the captain, which can only go in slot 1, as well as another regular, like, 2-star officer, which I believe is a 10% building damage or 10% damage officer. It doesn't matter which in this case, because everything is a building that's in that second slot. Okay, let's actually go ahead and take a look at the 1205 target and see if we can do another one of these entering roughly the same spot, just so we can compare and see what a general time might get. Although of course I could do like 10 of these and average them out, but you don't really want to watch me hit 10 targets, do you? Let's go ahead and take a look at this one and see what kind of results we get from this. Okay, so starting out, it is going towards the same first 2 turret clusters, with the sawtooth style turret first, and then the Vulture short-range turret second. Again, they're all purple, so it's really hard to change or really see what's going on right there. And again, it's taken a little bit of a different path. It's hitting some of the trash buildings, which I didn't necessarily hit. You didn't go for intentionally, I should say, on that one, because again, there really was no point to. Now, it is going up towards the right. It's not going to loop all the way around to the right side like I did. We are already definitely seeing several shockwaves off on me here, which is, again, not ideal. But again, it's on auto, so 39 minutes of repair is the time we have to beat. Okay, let's go down and take a look at the next turret cluster. We are being shot at by the heavies, and this, I believe, does have a splash on it, because I think it is damaging me even though it's hitting just behind me. It'd be kind of silly if there was no splash on that one. And again, that heavy turret continues to shoot at me. If I was driving, I probably would prioritize that one first, but I'm not, so oh well. Now again, next turret cluster, yeah, web turret looks like it's actually avoiding the damage so far from that one, which is good, up until I said it. Of course, it no longer does. And then, let's see, going off to the left, interesting, I probably would have headed down to the right, but oh well. Nothing too bad. Now, I will mention that I did have a chance to actually look up, in the time I've been recording this, what the rotating weapon wheel does. So, that is breaking news hot off the presses on this one here. If I can actually find out what it does. So the yellow is a radioactive weapon, which is kind of what I said before. The red is a hostile aura that increases the effective reload percentage of enemy turrets, so decreases their reload time. They shoot at you more quickly. White will slow you and reduce your projectile speed. And of course, the black is actually from your own ship. That's the special ability if you go down and check under those ones. Now we are just finishing up the turret here, or target. It does look like I've taken less damage in the 1205 cumulatively than I did the 1204, which is pretty interesting. And honestly, with this thing being about 3 minutes to complete, it's really not the end of the world. Now again, here's that radioactive damage from this guy, which you can see came in from off screen, and my retreat bar did go down, so that's worth noting there. Last two turrets will get taken down, and this is just about 3 minutes to do auto, which is again not too bad there. Alright, let's go and take a look at the damage route report and the build for the auto version and see how it compares to that 39 minutes of repair, which we got when we were driving. Looking at 28% resisted on ballistic, and then 36% resisted on radioactive, so again, seems like in comparison to the 1204, again, a slight increase in radioactive percentage distribution. And damage here is just about 1 hour exactly, which means it's a 50% increase in damage taken if you auto this versus drive it. This means out of the two targets, the 1204 versus the 1205, it is more worth your time to auto the 1204 and drive the 1205, which is not too surprising in terms of the percentage damage increase, at least if you're driving like I am here. And overall though, not too bad of a target to auto if you did want to auto one or either of these things. I'll likely be autoing both of those. So again, here's the build if you needed a refresher on that one, and then my strategy for that. I've mentioned it in a few other videos, but I would make sure that if you get anything in this raid, get the Worldeater and then start building blanks of that one as soon as you can. Don't spend any more physical shipyard time or generic tokens on the Bonesaw or Retaliator. Again, Worldeater is the go-to there. If you have questions, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. With that said, until next time, I want to give a huge shout out to the channel members whose names appear on the end screen now. They're making help this video the 4th one released on the day of the raid possible. With that said, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.